Our guest on this episode of the podcast is Jeffrey Rakabe. In his book, Led by Shepherds, Jeffrey investigates the possible links between initiation school rituals, which are awash with misogynistic language, and gender-based violence in South Africa. This book asks urgent, incisive questions of us as a society. What does it mean to be a man? How can we remake rather than abandon cultural practices that perpetuate harmful norms? And how do we realize a safer South Africa for its women and children? It's part memoir, it's part manifesto. Led by Shepherds is a timely and controversial text by Jeffrey Rakabe, who asks brave and essential questions for a new generation. My name is Nongcebo Vukile Mackenzie. Ngiyakwamukela. Welcome to the podcast. Our guest on this episode of the podcast is Jeffrey Rakabe. He's the author of the book Led by Shepherds. Jeffrey, welcome to the podcast.
Good morning, Nongcebo. Thank you for inviting me.
I always love how people who aren't Nguni speaking, and actually some who are Nguni speaking, how they pronounce my name, they always separate the G and the C. And it's always, I don't know, there's something so soft, because when you say Nongcebo, it's very guttural, it's Nongcebo. But when you separate the G and the C, it's Nongcebo. It sounds so, it softens it somehow. Jeffrey, the title of your book, Led by Shepherds, that's an interesting title.
Yeah, it is.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So it's a title that we worked on with my publisher. So actually, in the beginning, I'd named my manuscript The Women Brought Books, based on the two women in my life who have helped me write this book, which is my partner and my librarian. Mm-hmm. So at a point where we were working on the manuscript, and we kind of changed it to fit the narrative of the book. And we landed on Led by Shepherd to kind of put everybody who have worked with me throughout this book and who have guided me and who have shepherded me. Mm-hmm. But mostly it's about gender interdependence, mm-hmm. in terms of me leaning on the people who have helped me, particularly the women in my life. Mm-hmm. Yes, that's how the title came about and what it means to the book and to my life and to the story and the journey, all in all.
So the book is set against the backdrop of your experience at initiation school.
Yes.
To use that term,
yes.
that we've become used to, initiation school. And
yes.
that is obviously something that is very male and very masculine. And the focus of it is not about the experience of initiation school. It's about how that informs the view of women.
Yes.
Now, I'm looking at this in terms of the title, Led by Shepherds, and I'm wondering, you are from a very rural area, and you grew up as a rural boy, rural young man, although you're now in Johannesburg.
Yes.
In your part of the world, are there ever any female shepherds?
I think they are not. Mm-hmm. In the sense of men are always the shepherd, men are always the leader, mm-hmm. and women are just doing the following, and even them too, they're just led by men. So in terms of shepherding in the part of my world, I don't think so, because even when I wanted to go to the initiation and my mother wanted to stop me, mm-hmm. she couldn't. Mm-hmm. You know, and as a young, arrogant, stubborn, peer-pressured boy, I did not want her as a woman mm-hmm. to step my way, you know. So she was no longer my mother, she was a woman. So there was that separation between me and her, that I wanted to be a man. You don't understand how this is important to me. So you are a woman. So I need to do this transition from boyhood to manhood, to kind of, I wanted to be led by the men, you know. That's something that I grew up looking up to, and that's something that we are indoctrinated and domesticated into as little boys, that we must look to the male shepherd form of leadership than the women form, So that's something that was important mostly.
So your mom tried to stop you from going to initiation school because she kept on insisting that you were young because you were 12.
Yes.
And obviously, the world of initiation school is very closeted. And the experiences there, from what we hear, they form a kind of brotherhood, because you will hear people saying, oh, I know so-and-so, we were at initiation school together. And that becomes quite a close bond because of the experiences that are shared there. Life-changing experiences, life-threatening experiences as well. Now, what is it that women know about initiation school that makes them so uncomfortable with it? What is it that women have heard? What is it that women have seen? What is it that women have an intuition about when it comes to initiation school that makes them reluctant to send their sons to initiation school? The reason I ask that is because it's not supposed to be spoken about. It's very closeted. It's very clandestine. It's very secretive. It's very, what happens at initiation school stays at initiation school. But somehow women have an awareness of, I'm not so sure about my son going there at such an early age, the things that are going to happen to him there. Where does that awareness come from?
That's a good question. And in my part of my world, that awareness is so hidden in women. So they try to pretend like they don't know, even though what they have heard is not confirmed, but they kind of have some perception on maybe what is going on there. They've heard stories and everything. So my mother tried to stop me first in 2003. I wanted to go in 2003. And she said I was young. She tried to bribe me with a bicycle. So come 2006, she still refused. I think saying that I was young, it was just an excuse. She did not want me to go at all. And even though I never asked her that, what is it that you know about male initiation that you are protecting me from? She could never tell me, but there was some kind of fear of something else, as if she has been there herself. But I think women know that in there is not a good place for young boys and for innocent-minded little men, but somehow they can't stop us from going there. We yearn for it. But I think I got the same question when I was doing a launch, when these women said a boy is going in the Eastern Cape initiation this year, and she wants to prevent her boy from going, but as a woman, she's told it's not her place. I think what is going on is that it's a brutal place, we all know, and it's harmful to the little boys, we all know, and women know too, but because of their position in a patriarchal cultural village, their voices are not heard, and they have no choice in what happens to the boys. And even as the boys, we do not want to listen to our mothers. But I think they know what is going on in the initiation, even though it was never confirmed by us, the men. But they know that it's horrible. And whatever us young boys who've been told the lies of how beautiful it is in there, they know it is a lie, but we believe the lies more than our mothers' fear, tears, and their protection.
So you say in the book, yes, I have become a traitor. I'm the guy who decided that honesty, no matter how uncomfortable, was worth more than holding on to an outdated tradition that is eating us, men and women, alive. Would I do it again? Absolutely. Because the alternative is an endless cycle of suffering, shame, and silence. Unbearable. You say it's eating us alive. How come?
Yes, it is. Boys are dying every year, We had boys who died during the initiation in Limpopo this year in June. We're still going to have initiates who are going to die in Eastern Cape this year, come November, December initiations. And we have a very bad role model in the form of how men are behaving in this country. And such kind of traditions where they are being protected by the government, by civil society today, they are being celebrated as if it's a new thing at the cost of young boys who are losing their manhood, who are losing their lives. No one is saying anything about that, and no one even wants us to ask questions as to what is this initiation about and how does its teaching impact society and young men, So it's kind of worrying. That's why in my book, what I wanted to find out was the link between is there a link between traditional male initiation and gender-based violence in this country, and what is it that we're dying for as boys? Why can't we go to hospital and get circumcised, and rather than going to the male initiation and lose our manhood, go through abuse and traumatized and made to sing vulgar songs about women? This hateful tradition that is celebrated as this big African institution that we have to go through whether we like it or not.
Until I read your book, and I admit obviously that my knowledge, information, exposure to the world of initiation schools is beyond highly limited.
Yeah.
But I was even more shocked to realize that boys who die at initiation school don't get buried at home. I didn't realize that.
I think that there was I read this article when I was doing my research. There was this boy too. I don't remember which initiation was it, but it was here in South Africa where he was buried there. So that's how they treat the coward. They failed, You are a failed man, so you're not supposed to be part of the society. That's how it goes about. It's shame, not you failed the ritual, not that the ritual failed you. And that's how we're framing these arguments today when boys die in initiation school. The media frame this as illegal schools. So they're trying to shift the blame that the ritual is perfect. It's just that it's a legal school. So for me, all initiation school are illegal school. So you get buried there. So the ritual ate you. You failed to be a man. You failed to be strong. So you shouldn't come back to society to be buried. You shouldn't be mourned. And even how it is introduced to your family, it's in a brutal manner. So I think that's what our mothers fear. That's what the women in our lives fear, what will happen to us, that we don't know how brutal this thing is. So your life is not guaranteed. When you go there, you might die and you might be buried in shame.
Now, going there at the age of 12.
Yes.
That sounds like a very tender age.
Very. I remember I wanted to go 3 years before.
So, what's the standard age, though? Is there a standard age, or are you supposed to go when you feel ready? Or what's the process for identifying that a young man is now ready to go to initiation school?
So right now, when they register their initiation school, they say the age is 12, even though I do not believe that the boys who go there, all of them are 12. So when I see pictures of initiation this year, I doubted that some of boys are 12 years old. So there's no proper age. So in my initiation, as opposed to Eastern Cape, they go when they're a little bit old. So when in my part of the world, they need little boys, so that domestication and that indoctrination, those teachings, so that they can mold you at an early age. So I think it's between you and your family. You can go even when you're 10, you can go even when you're 11, 12, 18, but we go early as young, because there's this shame in my village again that when you go to initiation when you're old, it's embarrassing. So you need to go as early as possible.
So going as early as possible, and considering this in the context of how you framed your mother's reluctance in the book, because you articulate it in the book to reflect that she wasn't afraid that you would fail, but she was afraid that you would come back a stranger.
Yeah.
That for me was a bit of a because if you are 12, you're not really at an age where you have discovered who you are. You're not at an age where your parents have come to know you fully as who you fully could be in terms of your personality.
Yeah.
And then you go to initiation school and you become a stranger, but you were not known in the context of now a young man because you were still a boy.
I'm still young. Yes, I understand you. Yeah.
That sounds very scary.
As opposed to Eastern Cape initiation, our initiation, most importantly, the main thing is not only about removing protein and the circumcision. It's about the whole series of events that goes on the first week, the second week, and the third week. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. So when we get in the initiation, we lose our names. You know, you are no longer yourself, and we are called by a name that we're all given, which is Wuliga in our language. I think in the Eastern Cape it's Mkwetwa, if I'm pronouncing that correctly. Yeah. So that is when we begin to become strangers of our own selves, you know, and that breaking up of ourselves and that building up of new men that we do not recognize it. That is the problem. And I'm saying it's a problem because that building up that breaking down and building up, it is done unaware. That we are not sure what is going on, and we are not sure what we are absorbing, what we are being taught, and what is being made of us. And that is what I think my mother feared, that I'll come back as a stranger, because in there you're not just going to get circumcised, like, you know, you're going to be remolded. So you come back here, I'm afraid that you'll come back a changed person. I'm afraid you'll come back here as a person whom I don't know anymore. So I think that kind of remolding of new men in young men, it's dangerous, and it should be questioned, because one thing you're not supposed to question, things can get to be referred in different names. You are given in a new language to refer to things. So I think we are all strangers when we come from that initiation, even though we are aware or not. As it is done in an early age. I think even for me, I realized later on in my life, when I have to sit down and think about what happened with me when I was there. What was I singing? What was that? What did that mean? So yeah, that's when I realized. So that's how good the domestication and the indoctrination works, because you're unaware and you want to look stoic, you know, you want to celebrate even though you are hurt and look good in front of society and those men. You want to impress them.
So some would maybe view that as the breaking down of any preconceived notion that you can individuate, that you can, you know, go and chase flights of fancy, and that the whole point of awakening your masculinity is to ground you in the fact that you are supposed to be a man that is unswayable, that a man that knows what he stands for. And maybe, you know, some would justify even the singing of the derogatory songs, not from an angle of demeaning women, but from an angle of saying, as a man, you need to know what you stand for, and you need to be able to lead a family, lead a community, lead in whatever context without being swayable, without being influenced in a way that would, for lack of a better word, weaken you. Maybe that would be the argument. And maybe the whole argument would be that because the world is not an easy place to navigate, that's why they try to toughen young boys. And, you know, we all know that with age, well, you're still a young man still, but with age, we face problems where you're like, hey, no, man, is this what being an adult is about? And maybe the whole point of putting young boys through that tough experience of transition is so that they have got a reference point for difficulty that would then give them the mental fortitude. Maybe that would be an argument. I have no stance on initiation schools, either for or against. I have very limited, very, very limited exposure and understanding. So this is just a conversation as to the different perspectives, perhaps?
Oh, I don't think so. No, it's not maybe. I do not agree with that, I think we have a problem in relation to manhood and masculinity, and I don't think it's a proper place to put boys through that process. Say we are building them for anything in terms of how they should face life and everything.
Yeah,
I think male initiation, whether Pedi, Tonga, Soto, Xhosa, for me, I think it's a school for doing stupid things. That's what I wrote. And I think they okay, if it's that case, when we they need to prepare us. Why when I swear using the male private parts, it's a problem. And when I swear using the female private parts, then celebration. So I think, why don't we do them both? I think what you said is this male bonding. You said this in the beginning. This male bonding that is dangerous. That is. Dangerous to society as a whole, that we as men, we protect each other no matter how foolish we are. We protect each other. We need to protect each other, most importantly against women. You need to always be dominant to women. You need to know your position. So I don't think it's a good thing to tell me that at 12 years old, that after circumcision my penis is a spear. What is a spear? That organization of male private part, that we need to measure ourselves by the size of our genitals as boys. And boys are waiting to have sex. Girls are waiting to have sex with us when we get home, that we need to heal quickly. I did not know what sex is when I was 12 years old, And that's what they told me, that pressure of having sex at an early age. You see, that's what they were implanting in my head, that you go through this initiation, you are not done. When you get home, the final stage is for you to have sex, and what kind of sex I'm being taught, that I need to take it, That's how men do this kind of thing. So I do not need to wait for it. So women are props, there are things for us to use, and we should own our spear that we will be sharpening in male initiation. So I don't think so.
So it's from your interpretation, and this is my interpretation of your interpretation. The building up is the building up of a certain level of ingrained, should I say, hatred towards women?
Hatred towards women, yes. Unaware though, but we are unaware, but when we think that a black woman is a witch, words have meaning, and you compare that with what is happening in terms of gender-based violence in this country. You're like, we shouldn't continue to sing about that, So if we have a problem right now that men can take a woman's surname, I think we should stop singing those kind of songs in those kind of initiations. It's very much important that what boys are being taught to view women as, it's something that we need to always try to scrutinize and see if it's good. That boys have proper role models, and those kind of initiation be used to kind of help us in the society in terms of the problems and challenges that we have in terms of gender-based violence and abuse and so on.
So you say in the book, I had a problem with the whole idea of being a man in a world that seemed hell-bent on using that masculinity as a means of hurting people. Now, when we say that masculinity was being used, or the lessons of masculinity were being used, may I say, teach how to hurt, or how to invalidate, or how to not feel bad about hurting. There are instances, we live in a very diverse country, and not
Yes, we do.
all our people are people who go to initiation school.
Not all of them, yes.
Yes. And yet, we still see high levels of GBV, of all kinds of horribleness, actually. We can use as many descriptive words as we want to see, as we want to use. And a person could argue, and again, I am at pains to explain that I have absolutely no view, stance, or opinion, and I'm highly unqualified. I'm not a man, so I'm highly unqualified from that point of view to either encourage or discourage the idea of initiation school. I do not know what it does to a person. I do not know. I don't know anything about the experience that would make me have any opinion on it.
Yeah.
So these are just, again, points of discussion around the issue. When we then transmute it to GBV, that an argument that could be raised would then be, okay, if we're attributing this hatred, this learned hatred towards the other gender and towards those who are not deemed to be masculine enough, even if they are male, and those who are of same-sex orientation, and those who do not go to initiation school, and we therefore then pull them all together as a group of people who are weaklings. Why is that then observable across demographics, including those who then do not go to initiation schools?
Yeah.
A person could raise that argument.
Of course, and it's a valid argument. And one of the points that I make is that whether you come from initiation school or you do not come from initiation school based on your tribe or your culture, but the boys, we all believe in the same things that were taught in initiation school. Is that us who went through initiation school, is that we went to get our certificate there. But we do believe, those who went and those who did not go there, we all believe in the same thing, Everything that was being taught in initiation is the very same thing that these other men too who have not gone through this initiation, they believe in what we believe too. It's just that we absorbed it. We went to school for it.
It was validated. It was validated.
Exactly. We graduated. We went there and learned it for 3 weeks. So we are the leaders of it all. But we all believe in it. Every man, whether you come from initiation or not initiation, but you believe that men are superior from women. You believe that men should be leaders as opposed to women, all those kind of things. So we stand up for each other. When there's a gender-based violence case, men come together, whether coming from initiation or not, and come and justify why the men killed the women or why the women needed to die. So we stand together. We stand up for each other. So whether we come from initiation or not, we still believe in toxic masculinity, all of us.
When you speak about Kamohelo, you speak about her in a way that does not make her seem like a female. You speak. You speak about her. Of course, you refer to her as she, and of course, you talk about her beauty and her femininity. But when you speak about her capacities, you speak about her in the context of how she challenges you to be more of a man. You say, she made me see that strength didn't have to be loud, tough, or unshakable. For her, it was something else entirely. Softer, quieter, and honest. She showed me a version of manhood that didn't involve flexing muscles or clinging to traditions that no longer made sense. Now, is this not the thing that they were warning you against in initiation school?
Oh my God. Exactly. I think you nailed it. No, that is the very exact things that they were warning me for the past 3 weeks in initiation when I was 12. So they were like, you see, don't ever allow that. So it's the opposite of being a man. Yeah. So yeah, my partner is the person who played a very big role in my life. You know, there was a point in our relationship where she was the one who was working and I was not working. I just graduated and did not know what to do with my life, and I think she guided me, and I just took my life and put it in her hands, and she did not feel burdened, and I did not feel emasculated that she wakes up in the morning to go to work and I'm still trying to figure out my life, and she encouraged me a lot. So those are the kind of things that as a man, if I say this in front of other men, they're going to laugh at me. You know, I'm going to be referred as a weak man and all those kind of things that men are ashamed of. That my partner helped me, you know, and she guided me. I think she's the reason that I wrote this book. And at other moments, she challenged me, and she kind of pushed me and blamed me for the kind of gender-based violence and femicide cases that were happening in this country. So she pushed me to search deep in myself as to how, as a man, am I complicit in what is happening in this country now. At some point, I was frustrated and I was like, "You blaming me? I'm not doing anything." It's like, "But you are a man, so all men, need to stand up and do something." So yes, she's a wonderful person, very wonderful.
Now, what is it?
Yeah.
About having a supportive partner that makes a man weak?
So I think we need to learn that kind of gender. I think that's the problem that we have as men, that gender interdependence. You cannot fix everything alone. That's the reason why we have problems in this country. And I think men we are afraid that if a woman comes to take care of me, I will not be able to control her anymore, because I want to control you when I'm dating you or when I'm in a relationship with you, And as a man, again, how will my mother and my father look at me that I'm being taken care of? Even our feminists play a role in this kind of shaming us boys or men that I'm not working and my partner is doing this for me, So it's kind of they're saying you're married by a woman. Why can't a woman marry me if I can marry her? So we need to talk about that too. So that kind of shaming needs to stop. It needs to stop because it's harmful. That's why we have so many boys who are committing suicide than women, because we want to carry everything on our own. And we feel like when women are doing things for us or women are working, we are under attack. Our manhood and our malehood is under attack. Men needs to always be on top, and not only to lead, but to subjugate women. They need to hear from us. They need to learn from us. They need to be led. We need to lead them. I think it's some kind of competition that we have with women, and women don't know. And we want to win this race or we lose our lives.
That's interesting.
That is the problem that we have. But there are good women. So men have categorized women as slay queens. She wants something, this and this and this. And I think the problem is us, because when I'm proposing a girl, the first thing that I'm telling her is not that I love you, is that what I will do for you. And when she comes back to say I want something, I'm like, you see, she loves man. This is how women. But that's how I proposed to you. I did not say I love you. I said I can do this and this and this for you. And you come to me and say, I want this and this and this. I'm saying, look, there's no way. I knew you don't love me. You want things. But that's how I started. I think we have a low self-esteem and we want to hide by blaming women. That is their fault that our lives are in that place, are in a horrible space and a bad place. I think we need to listen. We need to share with our partner. And we need to not see women as evil spirits that are here to destroy our lives and that want to separate us from our mothers. That's one thing that is important and most dangerous about us boys, that we believe that our partners and our wives need to separate us from our mothers. There's a kind of competition between the mother and my wife, and I'm putting fire to it. Yeah, so no man must lead. I do not want to lead. I want to work hand in hand with my partner, and there are moments in life where she's going to lead, and I need to be led. That's how I'm going to learn everything.
What is interesting for me is that what you are presenting is often taken as the modern view, right?
Yeah.
Where
It is taken as the modern view.
it's taken as the modern view.
Yeah.
And when you contrast that with, the previous generation and generations before that, yes, there was an interdependence, but that interdependence was very subtle.
Can I ask you a question so that you can maybe put this together? So what about in a position where, because it's a problem even if a woman is earning more, both men and women are working. So what about that? Yeah.
Again, this is the argument that's propagated, right? This is the argument that's presented when we say women and men, and we look at their interaction, and we look at, again, gender interdependence.
Yes.
And we say, you know what, we need to work together. Of course we do.
Yeah. Yes.
Maybe in different ways for different people.
Yeah.
Maybe in a different way to how society was before. We live in a completely different world. Our needs are different. Circumstances are different. We face different problems. We face different challenges. We face different opportunities, right?
Yeah.
So, again, that's how it's viewed, that the woman, if she's earning more, it should not be known. It should not be known. It should not be known. If she's earning 40,000 and the husband is earning 10,000 and she's paying for the bond, it's their secret. Because once you expose, you then diminish the authority in the house. And by diminishing the authority of the house, you displace the system, or you confuse the system. And when, again, as it happens, especially when you've got children in the equation, there will be conflict, there will be all of those things, and then you're creating a situation where, and you will hear this often, when zingane zingithathe kancane. So the point that I'm getting at is maybe that's why it's viewed with such opposition, what you propagate, that, let's have this gender interdependence and let's displace the rituals that place one gender above the other.
Yeah, I think that the argument on its own, it just highlights that point that women are spoiled brats, It's all about us, How many women have cars, but they give the men to drive just to make him more dignified and everything. Why can't I feel like women are caring a lot. Somehow it has to be about us, Yes, maybe that could be an argument, It's reasonable, it's sound, but I feel like we need to get to a point where we get to take that argument and look at it from the women point of view too, because it's always their fault. That's why we want to take them out of jobs. That's why we want to take them out of higher positions, because I think we are very insecure. And even though me and my partner are in a relationship and she's earning more and I'm earning less, even though we are putting that conversation and that argument in our bedrooms, as we know, but every now and then I'm going to use the argument because you have a lot of money more than me. So I think it's that insecurity in me, and in terms of authority in the family, that's another big question. What is authority in the family? I think authority in the family, it means men must not cook, men must not clean, men must not wash children, men, so it's that is authority, because those are women's job, but I don't think so. But as you say, you're putting from a contextual psychological point of view. I think I need to look at that and maybe read. But I think that we can try. I don't think we always have to make men feel good. They just need to learn to be good about who they are and not make women feel bad. It's not women's fault. It's not my fault as a man that my partner as a woman, she's working and she's providing. And I think we as men, we have low self-esteem. That's low self-esteem. If I feel like my children look down on me because their mother is working. But when the woman is not working and I'm working, why can't the women say, it feels like my children look down on me because you as a man, you are working, so it's a big debate, and I think both sides needs to be heard. But all I'm saying is that no, men are not special about anything. We just need to be equal from the women, and life happens to all of us. Men and women are all unemployed, and they go through different challenges in life, and we're the one who are complaining. The game is rigged against us, everything. And the most important thing is that we are men. That's my argument. So what do I do in that situation when my partner is working and I'm not working? I cheat on her, and when she asks why, is that, but I'm a man, I don't feel welcome at home. What did I do? Nothing. It's just that I should be the one who's working, not you. You see, the problem is our low self-esteem, man. We need to fix that.
But if we juxtapose that against the essence of your book, I think you are highlighting two distinct but equally important things here. If we look at the context of your argument with regard to, should I say, the psychological warfare that initiation school prepares you for, the derogatory songs in terms of your experience, because, somebody else might raise a different argument. So these things are subjective. Yeah. If you look at it in that context, what you're saying, or what I'm hearing you say, is that one, it creates a situation where it subjugates women relative to men. So it elevates men's authority, not on merit, but purely on gender lines.
Yes.
But what it does, what I'm hearing you say, is it does not foster emotional development in men where they can learn to stand in their manhood. Their manhood has to stand on something. It has to trample something for it to fully flourish.
Yes.
And what I'm hearing you say is that the current approach, and from your experience of initiation schools, it's a breeding ground for that kind of mentality and that kind of brotherhood mentality where your mistakes will be sheltered and they'll be covered, and, men stick together, men band together. But it also then displaces the ability for men to realize the added value that a woman could bring to his life beyond cooking, beyond children, beyond intimacy, physical intimacy, but the emotional, the mental contribution that you get from being with somebody. You want somebody, as you say, like Ukamukelo, challenges you to consider things. Have you thought of this? Have you thought of that?
Of course, yes. And that's what male initiation is about. It doesn't foster maturity, it doesn't foster growth. It doesn't foster all the good things that we want to look for in a man. So the most important thing is to separate us from women and make us hate women even further and want to stamp on them even forever, So that's why during the initiation, women are not supposed to wear pants, They're not supposed to gather in groups. So we want to feel even more important in their lives, even when we are not with them. It's about controlling them, and there's that kind of intimidation. And it's just a bad organization that has been put in place since time. It has not been challenged, and it's not fostering the good in us as boys. We are not being taught anything that is good about being a man. We are taught that if you don't do this as a man, you're going to lose this, so you kind of cling to this fear of, am I failing as a man? Am I failing as a man? As to oppose what is it to be a man, and what can I do with my life and my manhood, So it's that thing that I'm challenging about initiation school. Not that we need to abolish it, but we need to kind of teach boys to be better boys. There's nothing is perfect, but we need to kind of be better in our approach to the world, life, and our relationship with women.
So you say they called circumcision a death and a rebirth. Nice metaphor. Except what kind of rebirth demands that you cut away the parts of yourself that ask questions, that wonder, that feel? If this was supposed to make me stronger, why did I feel so small? Every rule, every cut, every blow, every silence seemed designed to erase me. My curiosity, my softness, my ability to just be human. So, how do you, in your view, think that we could improve on this model, shall I say? You know, what is your view? What is your take? And what is your view on its place in society as a kind of facilitation of some kind of bond? Whether we label the bond negative or positive, but there are people in communities, especially in rural communities, that because you were there for me at initiation school, like your shepherd, I mean, he put the herbs on you, he helped you. I'm sure you would do anything for him. So it's created that bond because he literally saved your life. Now multiply those experiences. There are people who into their old age show up for each other, and that was born at initiation school. There are people into an old age, they will take care of each other's children, handle each other's burdens. You know, where there are traditional functions, you know, there are distinct roles that are given to men and women, boys and girls, and you will find that a certain grouping was formed through this bond of initiation school. So it helps, it weaves the fabric of society together, right? So I think there is also that acknowledgement of how it becomes an essential in this tapestry, especially of rural life. And you will find these bonds, you know, even evident. You'll meet somebody in Johannesburg, in Cape Town, in Durban, and hey, wait now, last time I saw you, we were in the bush together, and this is your brother for life, and you are now protected from certain elements because of that bond that was formed. So, you know, how do we navigate this?
Yeah, that's a big question. You know. So I'm not saying we should abolish initiation schools. Of course, they're part of the people's identity, you know, culture and everything. But all I'm saying is that let's question, you know, let's question what our cultures mean, and we need to make it open for everyone to know. Especially this male initiation that is so problematic, as you say, initiation, death, and everything, which have failed this man. Nobody has been able to stop that. So my wish, I'm saying wish in the sense of I think we're going in a terrible direction as a country because when these rituals are being questioned, the government responded and people responded in a way in which that the culture it's under attack from Western people who wants to demolish this culture. So what did they do instead of opening the curtain for all of us to learn, to question, to find meaning? They protected it, and in that way they protected the deaf. We cannot know what killed the boys. You know, so it becomes a secret. So I'm saying all those bad teachings that I talk about in my book, they cannot be referred to culture. They need to be removed. And in them, I think our culture needs to evolve. In them comes proper development and proper teaching that is helpful to the boys and that is helpful to society as a whole. And that's something that we do not want to talk about. The most depressing thing about this ritual, this culture, is that we do not even want to talk about. It is the way it is, you know. And we need to challenge culture. We need to test it, you know. So it cannot stay as it is. And whereas it's problematic, and the question of boyhood and manhood is a big topic throughout the world. And in this country where men are doing horrible things to women, and that kind of initiation that is about male masculinity and men, it stands alone without being questioned. I'm saying remove the bad things. Remove the bad things and the bad teachings, and come on, involve women, because being in a room with men only teaches you how to perform masculinity, you know, not how to be a human. So women need to be involved in this process because they're the mothers. You know, they need to know what happens to their child. They need to know, what is this song? What is this poem? What have you been taught in there? And what do they say, even about me, about your father, And how does it impact us as a nation? I don't think there's a way that it impacts us.
Mm-hmm.
We can keep the ritual, but I don't think there's a way that it impacts us or to our identity and in our pride as a nation. It has caused us harm. It has caused us pain. It has cost us our beloved sons. And as you just said, it has some good bonding that we have with our shepherds and everything. And, so remove the bad and keep what is good. That's all I'm asking.
I love how you say, if you're only in a room with men, you only learn how to be masculine.
Yeah.
And if you're in a room with men and women, you learn how to be human.
You learn how to be human.
Thank you, Jeffrey.
Thank you, Nongo. It was good talking to you.
And thank you for listening to this episode of the podcast. Remember, you can like, rate, and share this podcast on the channel you're listening on.